Hello, it's me. Aren't you excited? Well, we're going to look at some cookies today, and we're going to pretend, and we'll use our imagination, that these cookies, or this particular cookie, represents layers of the earth. So, oops, I already took this one apart, but if you've never done this before, you twist and pull. So you get one blank cookie and one super creamy cookie. If you have Oreos at home, get more than one and then put the two together and see what happens. Nothing good. Sugar rush, diabetic shock, don't do that. So I want you to think about what these could represent. This particular cookie, this hard, flat cookie, and then this creamy filling layer that is sort of squishy. So since we're talking about earth layers, think about what that could represent. I'd rather you think about that yourself. I'll try to tell you at the end. And so we'll just kind of try to do some observations of this. So yeah, I'm going to give you spoiler answers and stuff at the end, but I'd rather you just think about it. You could probably figure it out pretty easily yourself. So I'm going to break this cookie because what we're representing isn't just one nice big piece. It's broken into many pretty big pieces, but it's broken into many pieces. I don't know how well my microphone's going to pick it up. We'll try to see. So think about what that breaking sound could represent, or that breaking action. I actually got some nice cookie crumbs over my laptop here. Oops. So think about what that could represent. So I've got two pieces. They're not exactly the same size, and that's okay. This isn't going to work super well. I'll try my best. But you can imagine if these were moving away from each other, you can kind of see this white creamy stuff, the cream filling, pushes up in the middle when I push them apart. So if I push them away from each other, this white stuff will fill in the gap between them. Now, if we were talking about layers of the earth, whatever this could represent would cool and harden and eventually look like this brown cookie. It's not, it's not actually that, and this cookie doesn't do that, but that could happen if this was layers of the earth, which I'll get to at the end. Then we can take these pieces and sort of push them together. And if you look, we have stuff that kind of oozes up a little bit. And if I keep pushing them together, they push up against each other, form like a little mountain. And then lastly, this is going to make a mess on my computer again. I could take them and slide them past each other. Correct. I can slide them past each other. And I did have lots of little pieces sort of crumble off and break and snap. There's a lot of force there. So that's some good earth layers. So I want you to just take a minute. I want you to think about what we looked at, what that could possibly be, what these things represent, and what we saw. And then I'll go over it with you. So just take a minute. Think for yourself, or maybe now that you saw it, you're like, oh, that's really easy and obvious. Uh-oh, the computer's making noise. That's not good. Okay, so hopefully now you thought about it. If you don't want spoilers and you want to do it yourself, then don't listen. Oh, wait, listen now. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. Why haven't you done that? It's so easy. Okay, so what do these things represent then? So these cookie pieces at the top that are now very broken were the crust, and the white creamy Oreo center part is the mantle. So you saw how it was pretty easy for me to slide these cookie pieces over the mantle. You also saw maybe how like they would kind of suddenly move in like a jerking motion. Like it wasn't always smooth. Okay, what would that jerking motion kind of represent? Where if with a sudden break or a sudden twist like that, that would be an earthquake. So you would see those at transform boundaries. You can see them at other plate boundaries, but you see them really frequently at transform and convergent boundaries. So the first thing that I showed you, oh boy, when I broke the cookie, That would be like an earthquake where these plates could break. Next thing I showed you, where I moved the cookie pieces, the lithosphere apart, the crust apart, you could see the white mantle coming up through the cookie. That would then cool and harden like the cookie. It doesn't really do that in real life, but the mantle does, and then become new rock. So that's a divergent boundary, and that's where you get new rock forming. Then when I push those two cookie pieces together, you can think of them as two pieces of continental crust in the convergent boundary. They formed a mountain. It could also happen where one pushes, it's hard for me to look at it and show you at the same time, but if it pushes underneath another like this, you can find a mountain. You can see the white mantle coming up, and then this is getting pushed under, subducted. So maybe this is ocean crust and this is continental crust, forming a mountain chain and a volcano like you see in the western coast of South America, like around Peru and Chile. And you'd have mantle material coming up, forming a volcano. And then this plate, the ocean plate, is getting subducted and going into the mantle, forcing that hot mantle material to come up and spew out as a volcano. That's a convergent boundary. And then, like I said, the last one where I really broke the cookie was a transform boundary where those two plates slide past each other and you get some pretty violent earthquakes like you would see in San Andreas, California. It would be a lot more fun to do this with you guys in person and have you make a mess with some cookies and you get to eat them. I guess when we finally get to see each other, I'll owe you some cookies. You'll just have to keep reminding me until I remember to bring them in. Well, I hope like that simple demonstration helps you understand what goes on at these different plate boundaries a little bit better. If you have questions, ask, and I'll see you later.